might be using that. I think some more.
You can put it ahead. You're out there, Greg, I think. Sorry.
Would you mind switching with him so he doesn't have his back to folks? It's all right. Let's just try to avoid having anybody with their back to people. All right. Well, thank you for your patience as we got a late start on our HOA meetings, but I'll call the regular meeting to order, and coming out of executive session, we'll have a motion. Greg?
Motion to decline?
Correct.
Okay, I move that we decline the offer of mediation with Mr. Spurlock at this time.
Second. Sure, second. All right, we have a motion. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. All right, we will start into our regular
Could I
association.
ask a question? Who's all voting here?
So Greg, Ron,
Just one person?
Dawn,
The board of
myself.
directors.
Hold your hands up.
Yeah, introduce everybody at the table so we know who you are.
Why don't we do?
Introductions?
Who's not voting?
No, he's our
No,
attorney.
it's the attorney.
So there's one,
There's
two,
5 of
three,
us.
4, 5, 6.
Not me, no, I'm with the management
These
trust.
two are management.
Oh, okay.
Why don't we just do you want to take a quick minute to just kind of
That might be nice.
do some introductions real quick? Sure.
Okay, I'm Tony Bruce. I'm the HOA president.
Mark Carlton, Secretary Treasurer.
I'm Ryan Harris. I'm with Lyle Fotheringham, your law firm. It's the association law firm.
Greg Minahan, board member.
Ron Frederickson, board member.
Don Sassy, Vice President.
Oh. It's okay. I'm Patricia Kopp with the management trust. And I'm Sarah Bennett with the management trust as well.
So we start off the first 15 minutes with homeowner open forum. So your meeting to my left, if you'd like to start with the open forum.
I have a hearing problem,
Oh,
so obviously, that's why I've got Bluetooth. What did you say now?
We have our open forum to start our board meetings, our HOA meetings, and you're immediately to my left, so I was going to let you start with the open forum if you're here for a particular reason.
Hey guys, I'm Carl Druck. I live here in the I'm part of the homeless, and I came down to listen to see what's going on, and I think that there are other people that are more learned than I am. I'm just a dumb engineer, so bear with me, all right?
It's okay, Tony's a dumb engineer too.
So, go on to the next person, please.
Thank you.
We're kind of in the same boat. We know things are going on. We're just not sure what, and we're here for information.
I'm Pam. I also live through the HOA, and I just want to know what's going on too. I'm hearing two different sides of stories, and I just want to know what the truth is and where we're at financially and what we're doing now and what we're going to be doing. That's important.
Which portion's the financial?
Well, I think financials covers anything to do with money.
Okay.
So,
And you got a copy of the budget in your, when that went out in what, November? October, November? Did you get a copy?
I don't have it with me, no. I
But
don't
you
have
did
it.
receive it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Officer?
Kind of want to know what's going on too.
Arrest
Now,
him.
why do you need to be here?
No, we've invited the Newberg police here because at the start of the summer, we have notorious speeding issues on foothills. So we're invited them to come and join us, and here's one of those, part of that conversation, see what kind of incentive they can have, or enforcement, special enforcement things they can do to help us enforce the speeding issues on foothills.
On Burlington as well. And
And on Hilltop.
how about we just say, oh, no.
Yeah. Joe?
Okay, Joe Bonaventure, 800 Hilltop. I'm just curious about the trees on foothills. Are they back in, so we got to start paying for them? Or or not? Because we did have them out. Now I see in the thing it says that we maintain the trees on foothills. Now we're gonna start maintaining the trees on foothills again? We got that out. We had majority 2 years ago. It was all voted. Now 6 of you get together and you put it back in. Nobody voted on these new bylaws you sent us in November. Nobody but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, there was only 3 on the board at the time. Because you put 2 after, and there were 3 of you came up with this. Did you put in that we take care of the trees on foothills?
That's what the bylaw says, yes.
That's what you voted in, not what the bylaw says.
That isn't what it used to be.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, maybe I
you,
can-
you three,
2000.
you 3 put
Yeah,
that in.
maybe I can help with that. So your declaration talks about maintaining the trees, street trees, and the planter strip on foothills. And, there's been some discussion about not doing that, but to not do that would require amending the documents. So I think that at some point you're right that there was a discussion of just not maintaining those anymore. But there is the sense that, it would require 75% vote of the owners, and frankly, nobody believes that can happen. And so until that happens, the board's going to continue to maintain that area.
Can you quote for me in section 7.1 where it says only the trees on Foothills Drive, please?
No, it says
No, Ryan, we're not getting legal speak on this one.
It's an open forum, is it not, Tony?
What I meant
It is,
is,
we're listening to
I
issues,
cannot,
we'll formulate a response possibly afterwards.
what I'm saying is, the ones I got home from 1999, it does not say anything about trees. It says maintain the strip. It does not mention the word trees in the one back.
Joe, under the reason we looked at this, Foothills Drive is a common area of the association, and there's value to the association in maintaining a consistent look down Foothills Drive.
Planter strips only.
Planter
I
strips
agree with
include
Mark.
trees.
No, they don't. Under Oregon ordinance, they do not. Under Newberg City ordinance, they do not.
You're talking, they have not paid a nickel extra in the 20 years, or 17. Not a nickel. And the water bill, the maintenance, and now the trees. You're talking the trees, which are gonna run us $4,000 or $5,000 each, because they're mature trees now, they say. And they were left in the sidewalk, so that's the tree's fault. So we gotta maintain that tree.
We're not maintaining the sidewalks, Joe.
You can maintain the trees.
We are maintaining the trees, and that's where we're gonna move forward from that. So, you have another conversation you'd like to bring up?
Yep.
Okay.
I wanna know, you live in the alley. Why do you pay $40 in to the alley when there's only half of you people in the HOA? The other half ain't. So why are you paying, are we liable for that, them alleys?
We are. The conversation we've had with the city is that that alley, and it only applies to one alley, the other alley, the northwest alley, is the only one that has non-HOA members abutting it. The other 3 alleys are fully abutted by HOA members.
All right.
And for that alley, yes, the HOA members do pay an extra $40 to pay into a reserve. It's a reserve fund. What the city has told us is if we have to do maintenance on that, they would participate or help us collect the money from the other owners because they enjoy the benefit.
But you're only gonna pay what you got in the kitty. Anything else gotta come out of your pocket.
It's going to come out
Nothing
of a
else-
special assessment by the members abutting that alley.
Right, but nothing from my dues are gonna go to it.
Correct, absolutely not.
That's all I worry about me, I ain't worried about.
My understanding. It's the alleys are funded only, there's a separate reserve account set up for each of the 4 alleys that are independently tracked in our financials. And each of the homeowners that are paying into that money is held separately and accounted for separately to pay for future pending.
I agree, but they're holding on the money. In other words, this association here.
We have it in a reserve account, yes.
The reserve. Well, it's costing the homeowners money for that being in there, because every time they have to do something, you're gonna get charged for it, correct? In other words, if a bill comes out to $7,000, they're gonna have to do this paperwork. They ain't gonna do it for nothing. So it's gonna come out of the HOA, not out of you, that there's none in
Comes out
there.
of that reserve fund. Anything they do,
It's gonna why they reserve. Now, one nickel, if a bill comes at $10,000, which when you're talking concrete, that's a minimum. So, and you've got probably $600 in there.
That's correct.
No, but that's every alley.
There's 4
Every
alleys.
alley ain't gonna take care of it. If the trouble's in your alley, the other ones ain't gonna pay you now.
Correct.
Just the people that live there.
Just the ones that abut it.
Right. But the city, they gotta get the other people.
The city
I'd like to
said-
see them get the people into the association. That's what I would like.
We've
105 of them are not in.
rallied that, we've raised that flag numerous times to no effect. There's a recording error, summary that with when the houses were sold and developed, that they didn't get recorded in the association years ago.
Whose fault is that? Association?
The
The
developer.
developer and the county.
Then you should go back, we should go back on them. We're paying the lawyer for a lot of things, why do that?
We did pay the lawyer quite a bit to look into it, and there's no resolution possible unless they voluntarily join the association.
All right, now how about if I drop out?
That's,
Can't do that either.
can't do that.
2 cans.
Sorry.
Losing battle up to someone else, and I'm sorry, I lost my battle.
Anything else, Joe?
No, it's different now, no, as long as you got that. As long as we gotta take care of them sidewalks or nothing.
Not the sidewalks and the alleys are responsible.
Okay, the trees, now the one that just chained, they just sawed down 3 days, we paid for that?
Correct.
How can you pay for that without having a meeting and voting to pay for it? In other words, somebody comes up and said, oh, we just sawed a tree down, send us a check for $6,000.
Ryan, you want to address that one?
I'm not sure I understood the question. Can you say
Someone
that
sawed
again?
a tree down on foothills.
Patricia?
No. And they paid for it. Now, the tree was only down, sawed down Monday, and they got their money by Wednesday. In other words, somebody wants to spend, now what'd that cost for that tree?
I believe it was
Yeah.
575, I think, I don't remember.
$500-600. But that was,
It was under 600, yes.
yeah, that was paid.
The problem with that, Joe, let me just explain, is that one of the branches was severely cracking off of that tree. It was a hazard to whoever was walking by. It needed to come down immediately.
If mine-
The board was notified that it was happening.
But if the lightning split my tree, I'm liable for it, and it's no emergency fund for me. For them, it's emergency, but for me, no.
It's our tree.
That shouldn't even been, you shouldn't even pay for it till you come to the meeting and voted, let's pay the, don't you give bills at the end of the month, or you just pay them?
I mean, the board has the power. Your documents make the president the CEO and of the association, and he's like a CEO. He can make decisions between meetings about things that need to be made
In other words,
between meetings.
it's authority. That's
Who
what
does
they
he
want.
answer to?
He answers-
Yeah,
he
they want
answers to the
authority,
board.
they want to be able to do what they want to do,
He answers to the
even though
board.
it's illegal.
The board answers to you guys. so.
They don't answer.
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
I'm a homeowner, we are, and we'd like to see where our money's actually being spent.
You just heard it, 600.
Yeah, now I know.
Mr. Spurlock?
Yeah, let's go back to 7.1 to piggyback on Joe's thing. I'd like Mr. Harris to concur, and I'm sure he'll agree, that when you read a statute or even this document, certain words like and shall, semicolons and commas have particular meanings when you read something. And when you read this section, if the declarant wanted the street trees on Foothills Drive specifically, and only those, to be under the association's control, they would have written it plain and clear in that section 7.1, but they did not. They specifically put a semicolon and the word and. Let me read this for you so you get this clear. Planter strips along Foothills Drive, semicolon, and street trees on each lot. Our Common Improvement Association. It's either all or nothing. You don't get to pick and choose, period. Which is what you've done for the last 17 years. Which you even sat at this table in 2014 and admitted and agreed that we were taking it out of the budget. You put a newsletter out and said, going forward, the 2015 budget, those trees will no longer ever be in the budget association. You lied, sir. Because here they are again on a resolution that Mr. Meehan, you, and 2 other board members signed without the 75% approval of all the homeowners to get it done. Because what you did in that resolution, sir, is fundamentally change the terms of this contract, which you all like to quote, is a private contract between all the homeowners. You changed the terms of the meaning of planter strips, and you changed the terms of street trees in that street tree resolution. That's a violation of the law, a violation of the bylaws, and a violation of this governing document. Period.
Are you suggesting that the homeowners association should take care of all of the trees in the
It's
homes?
all or nothing.
No, I'm just asking you,
I just answered you, all or nothing.
how does it go to nothing?
You have the right. There's actually an appellate case out there, which I cited back in 2013 to Christopher Tingey when he was here, when you guys tried to make an amendment to redefine 7.1 just to include the street trees on Foothills Drive and none other. And I cited that appellate case, which specifically stated an association board members has the right to either enforce or not enforce the CCNRs because it's just a contract. There's nothing in that really says it has to be enforced literally to the letter.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I don't agree, but that's
Ryan.
fine. We can move on.
Thank you.
Oh, great response. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Thank you, Mr. Reeves.
We've had this discussion before. We're not.
I know, and it was fixed back in 2014 when you took it out.
Out of the budget.
Do you want me to pull out the newsletter for you and read your own words?
It's not binding.
It's your own words to the association.
So what's
All the
binding?
homeowners. What's binding and what's not. If it comes out in a newsletter from you telling all of us what does or doesn't work, then all of a sudden you can just double back on it
The board decision that I reported on, the board changed.
with you signing off on it. You did a 180. You lied. You fundamentally changed the terms of this thing. Mr. Harris, just answer this question. You're a lawyer. When you read a statute, do commas, semicolons, and the word and, shall not mean anything when you read it in order to delineate what that statute actually means? Do not officers, like Mr. Simmons here, Officer Simmons, have to also read the statute the same way when they enforce criminal law? Those commas, that semicolon, that and that shall has a particular meaning in order to meet the elements of that statute. Does it not? Does it not?
The text, of course, matters, the history matters, the context matters. There's lots of different
Thank
things
you.
that go into legal interpretation.
So if it all matters, then why are they not following it the way it reads? It says right there, plain and clear, and street trees on each lot. It does not say Foothills Drive only. It does not say Foothills at all.
I don't think it's that clear.
Yes, it is. It's perfectly clear. It doesn't get any clearer than that. It's
We have
crystal.
another issue, Troy, that we're not going to resolve that issue tonight. We're not going to change anything tonight.
I know.
So
It's the same denial question for the last 17 years, Tony.
It's going to continue that way.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Well,
together,
only for so long. Yes, actually, I have one complaint. When are you going to make Linda fix her sidewalks? She's been on the board before. She's enforced other homeowners to get their sidewalks fixed that are busted up by street trees. Her sidewalks are being spray painted fluorescent orange. When is that going to get fixed? Or are you favoring her over other homeowners?
It's a city issue.
No, it's not. It's in the CCNR, Section 8.3. All sidewalks are the responsibility of the homeowners,
It is the responsibility of the homeowner.
which you're supposed to enforce under the CCNRs, Tony.
We have told the city about it.
No. You have the right under here to either send a letter, violation notice, non-compliance, hire a landscaping company, or whoever it is to fix it, put a lien on the house if they don't pay for it. It's in the bylaws and it's in the CCNRs. You're the first line of defense, not the city. Don't fall back on the city. That's the purpose of the homeowner association. That's the purpose of a board. That's the purpose of these governing documents. It says right here, you have the right to enforce these documents, send the violation letter, put the violation letter out. If they don't comply, hire the company to do it, fix it. If they don't pay for it, do the lien. This is exactly what it says. Why are you deferring to the city? Why are we paying a management company $13,000 a year if you're not going to follow the CCNRs and the bylaws?
We'll look into it. Thank you. Anything else?
I would like an answer.
We're going to look into it.
By next month?
Yeah, next month, next year?
When I
Sorry.
moved in a bunch of years ago, I signed a whole lot of documents, and one of them was regarding the CCNRs. And I was specifically told, after asking questions about the CCNRs, that those documents represented part of my contract buying that house. Now that to me, if it's part of the money that went into buying that house, how can we sit here today and talk about all of these changes that appear to be happening to the bylaws? What happens to that original signature? I never came over here and voted on anything regarding trees, changes in the bylaws, CCNRs. I had no input, but yet I understand that you folks made changes. My I believe my original document said that the trees, the lawns, the watering, the sidewalks, but not the trees directly on my property, beyond the sidewalk on my home side. That's what I was, the way it was explained to me. Now you seem to have changed this.
Are you on, you abut foothills? You're
I'm
on foothills?
foothills.
Okay. No, we
No.
haven't changed that, except for the sidewalk is your responsibility.
What I did was, went out with a saw, and I cut off all the goddamn roots. But I was told that if the tree dies, you guys are gonna pay for it. Okay?
You had to fix your sidewalk.
No, I'm not gonna fix the sidewalk.
Well, you address the future fix of the sidewalk by removing the root damage.
There is no more root damage
That's
taking place.
You're right, yes, correct.
But the sidewalk itself is not a hazard to passersby. Not at this point. I tried to get a hold of people a long time ago about this, and nobody listened to me. And that was at one of the meetings. Nobody listened to me. Nobody said, this is what we're going to do, this is what you can do. I didn't find out sooner than, I mean, it was about a month ago when, what's your name?
My name is Sarah.
Huh?
Sarah?
You didn't contact me.
I did not.
Okay.
Maybe it was me. Patricia?
Yes. What I was told, I could cut the roots, tree dies, you'll pay for it. I wanted to do that a long time ago. But I just got it, just a month ago.
There's been a lot of debate about the trees.
So you guys delayed getting the information to me to what I could do, even though I had asked.
There's been a lot of conversations about how we're handling the trees, and the way that you did it is what we've come to a conclusion to move forward with.
What?
The way you did it is the way that we as a board have decided that's how we're moving forward.
Okay, what happened to repairing the sidewalks? Was that we, the board, made changes there?
That's the board, that's how the
Did I get a chance to know about this?
That's always been in there, that the sidewalks are the maintenance responsibility of the homeowner.
Except for tree damage.
That was an interpretation by previous boards that I was a part of, that we have gone back and said, regardless of how it gets damaged, that the sidewalk is a responsibility of the homeowner.
Okay, what I signed as a document, part of my purchasing my home, you've now changed this. It's you've got to take off part of my house because it's too close to the alley. You know, something like that, and then I would have to pay to have this part of my home removed. I don't find that, I don't find it plausible that you can do that. That's my opinion, okay?
Okay.
It's been a craw, it's been really a sore thing in my throat for a long time.
So you're happy that you've been able to take care of the root problem, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, I did it myself. Fortunately, I'm young enough to be able to do it and help.
I helped a guy on foothills the other day, saw the tree inch at each root because it's just starting to move the sidewalk. I said, cut them now before they hump. If they hump, it's going to cost you $4,000 or $5,000 for concrete. So I said, so we cut them and he said, don't worry about it, cut them now. Cut them when they're little, because if you got to cut them when they're big, the tree's going to die.
Sorry.
I have several issues. Number one, I've been noticing since I live close to foothills but not on foothills, I live on Burlington, that the sprinklers have been running for hours and hours and hours. And then you go back out, like I get home from my parents' stay at midnight, and then they're running for hours. and up in the morning, and then running for hours. And so why are we wasting all this water on foothills? I mean, why? I mean, that just seems like excessive water use. And
When we see it, we're reporting it, having our landscape company come out and change the timers, and address it. We can't see it, we don't see it all the time, so if you do see it, we recommend you call Superior and they'll...
Trust.
Sorry, Madam Trust.
I mean, typically,
Freudian slip, sorry.
I mean, you would set the whatever you need and it's
We
that
do.
way.
The equipment's getting old, and some of the batteries are wearing out, some of the timers are wearing out. We're systematically replacing them.
That valve we had to replace,
And,
that's
yeah.
the one that went out.
So we do know there's issues with the irrigation that's addressing, but if you do see it going
Yeah, so
on,
like you have blocks just running and running and running.
yeah.
It's just like, that's a lot of money.
you're right.
See it, call it in.
Yeah, please call it in if you do see it. We do the best we can to see it when we drive by, but there's some of the equipment that's failing.
I hear it though, from the house, and I'm like, what is that?
Please call it in or send Patricia an email.
I'm gonna call you at midnight.
I prefer an email.
Oh, okay.
Contact them somehow if
Yeah.
you could. It would greatly help us all out because we don't want to over-irrigate it. That's
All the time, okay. And then, so I have other issues. So my other main issue, well, two other issues, but one of them is that when the management company changed, the documents did not forward over from my property to the new management company. And so I had exceptions for my garbage cans, and there were several reasons, and one of them was actually medical, but you guys didn't bring them forward. And the other one was that, I took my trees out and I had permission by the city, and then I worked with the board, and there was a letter, and then we all worked together with the board, and it was supposed to be put on record that I was to replace, instead of have 3 trees, 1 tree. And I was to choose off the city's list. There's all documented, but you didn't bring any of the information forward. So in the future, are you going to come back on me and go, oh, well, by the way, you have to plant 3 trees? And it doesn't seem very good of you guys to not bring my documents forward with the new company.
We should have gotten all the documents.
We hope that we received all of the documents from Superior, but without knowing your particular story,
Well, because I had
I don't.
called,
right.
and I was told they didn't come forward and they, we're starting fresh. And that, to me, that doesn't seem like due diligence.
I don't know that I said that, so I apologize, but I said that if you want to go ahead and email me your address, your
hurts me
information, that I would research it with Superior to see if we can get the documents from them.
Because I don't want
But
to.
again, without knowing your personal story, I can't speak on Superior's half, so I honestly just don't know. But again, if you send me an email with your address and your information, I am more than happy to try to go back and research any information with Superior so we have it on record.
And so one other thing was that I came originally to the board meeting, I believe it was in February-ish, and I've been here, try to come every month because I haven't been able to get things resolved. In February, I wanted to come, I was told to come, that there was an open slot on the board. Well, I came, and then before the board meeting started, you had a vote and got a board member on right here, I don't know his name. Ron. And without ever starting the board, and then he said, oh yeah, by the way, we started. But you never did, it wasn't Robert's Rules of Order. So it was rather frustrating for me to come, and I was going to talk to you guys about being on the board, but you guys already got someone on the board before the meeting started, so I was really frustrated and upset about it. Because to me, it wasn't the way to run the meeting, and it was upsetting to me.
For what it's worth, I did the same thing you did. I saw that there was a need for a board member. I walked up here and volunteered. I don't know any of these people until that day.
Well, you'd contacted Patricia.
She was aware.
And I made
I've
Patricia
been in
aware of
homeowners
it.
associations
And
in other states.
my understanding at the meeting is the board did open the board meeting and appointed Ron first thing at the meeting. That's my understanding.
That's what it should have happened.
My experience in other places has been it's very difficult to get people to volunteer. So I thought, okay, if they have a need, I'll volunteer.
Because we were waiting.
Are you expressing an interest in?
Well, I
being a
did,
board
yeah,
member?
but I've been upset because you guys,
Did
what
you
happened?
express that? Because I think I was here when we voted.
Yeah, you came late.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and So then you guys all talked and like hurried up and voted, and I was like,
And at that point,
I didn't,
I don't think at that point I was aware that you were interested in a board position at that point. Did you actually speak up and say that?
I had talked to Patricia on the phone, but I hadn't got to talk to the board because it wasn't public, whatever, the first 15 minutes yet.
Usually these seats are difficult to fill.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, you
I don't remember
know,
exactly how it happened, but I remember we had one name of position to fill, so we wanted to have him appointed to the board when we started the meeting to start over. So if you had contacted her and I don't know that in advance, I apologize, but we have your name now, and when there's an opening, we'll be sure to call you.
so I was just upset about it because, you know, the way it happened.
Yes, I appreciate
So
that.
I just wanted to let everybody know because you guys are all here finally, and I finally get to talk and everybody's talking with me, because I haven't felt like that for a couple months.
And if I understand correctly, I think what I heard you say about the garbage can issue was that you had a board that ruled some kind of exception for your garbage cans for some reasons that your cans could be within view of the sidewalk.
Yes.
And also an exception regarding planting your trees. And that documentation seems to be...
For removing and replacing my trees.
And that documentation seems to be missing at this point. So we're missing some kind of...
Do you have copies of that?
I did it with the medical and all that was done.
But do you have the email train?
I have the one for the trees, but I never got any documentation about the garbage can part. And so that's why it felt frustrating starting over.
If you can at least forward some of the email chain that you had, Patricia, for the street trees, and maybe that she can go through the records and use some diagnostic tools she has, maybe find some of the...
And maybe if you also, do you have an idea of the date range of when the garbage can thing happened?
It was when I first moved here about 9 years ago. No, 8 and 9 years ago there was a bunch of stuff with the garbage cans, and then that was all taken care of, and then every once in a while it pops back up, and I'm like, oh no, remember? And they're like, oh yeah. And then, but this time it just seemed like I'm being dogged on a lot, so, but the records are
So
gone.
was that 2008, 2007?
Whatever, 9 years, 8 years ago.
Okay, 8 or 9 years ago.
Patricia will look into that a little bit, and she'll be in contact with you.
Well, if you can email me your
Okay.
information, your address and that sort of thing.
All right. Anything else?
So we have an officer here that's supposed to do something about the speed enforcement? Is that what you were...
One of our agenda items, yes.
Okay.
So thank you for your patience. Since you are here, do we mind if I change the agenda up a little bit so the officer can get back to his better duties?
Oh, whatever you guys need.
So, thank you for coming for us tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Every summer, it seems, we have a recurrence of speeding throughout the neighborhood, particularly up and down the steeper hills and on the flat parts. How's that? So pretty much the conversation.
It's pretty much year-round.
It's year-round.
When we lived here, it was year-round. And I approached the board about trying to get something done about it about 5 years ago, maybe 6. And nothing was done still.
We did approach the city.
Yeah, they were there one day, one morning, radar and traffic. They radared half a dozen cars.
Well, we've gone to the Traffic Safety Commission to request additional signage. We've gone to talk to the city engineers about additional signage and speed bumps and traffic calming techniques, and the city is not going to add anything to it, so that's why we're asked the officers to come.
Yeah, it's kind of a tricky thing. I mean, when we're dealing with traffic complaints, we have 2 motor officers who work traffic, who move the radar trailers around. So often when we get complaints, we'll put the radar trailers in the area, but we only have 2, so there'll be a need somewhere else in the city for 1, and we'll move it over there. I work night shift typically, And I make it a point to come up here a few times, not every week, you know, because it's not a busy area as far as activity goes. And we have a lot of drug activity on the south end of town and just north of First Street, Hancock. So those are areas where we're concentrating a lot of patrol. We're very visible there, and that's not to take away from you folks at all. The traffic guys, they need to be up here during the day. And so do we. I mean, patrol officers are liable for that. That's part of our job as well. So if there's specific times that you see it.
There was, I mean, I had license plates, I had addresses, I had times. I said, be here at this time. Joe Blow's gonna come by here at 90.
Yeah.
And like I said, the one time that they did come down and actually set up radar, it was in the morning, because the guy was habitually going down, you know, doing 60 miles an hour. The officer called me up and says, yeah, we had several people obeying the speed limit, and then we had several people not. I said, did you write tickets? No. Well, what's that going to stop?
Sure.
You know, it's been 6 years and nothing's happened still, obviously.
Yeah.
We don't live here anymore, we moved out, but we still own a house here.
Still own a house, and we still have grandkids in the neighborhood.
Right.
There's a lot of kids in the neighborhood.
So what are the real busy areas that you're seeing?
Well, I know they'd avoid the roundabout and just scream down Foothills and Meridian. I mean, it sounds like it's a whole neighborhood now.
They go up Meridian to avoid that.
Yeah, Meridian's a usual cutoff either between Quail and Foothills, or they'll come this way to do whatever they're doing, they'll go out this way, or they'll come this way and come back to Quail.
I've stood out in the street and stopped people.
They go down Foothills, and then they cut the corner on Burlington turning left. They just totally cut it right all the way to the left side, all by the curb. And I'm like, holy cow, because they're just flying. They don't even
Are there
blink,
specific
nothing.
times that you're seeing this? Is it in the afternoon or?
I don't know.
Early evenings and weekends.
Yeah.
It seems like when people are coming home from work, we live just east of the roundabout, and it seems like there are some people who feel like they have to go to warp speed because they slow down a little bit. You can hear them accelerate, particularly the trucks.
And a lot of
And
those,
there are, like you said, there's kids all over the place on
a lot of those love Knoll Drive, and they have to gun it because it's a steep hill, so they gotta kick in the, turbocharger or whatever on diesel and something. And you can hear it when they turn off foothills. They go zooming up, and most of them live up at the end on the right-hand side. And there's no specific time of the day that it's just random. And there's two cars that I know, I've got the license plates on them, that habitually speed up and down that street.
Yeah.
And they're gonna hit some kids, because the kids shouldn't be playing in the street, but they do go out in the street and they don't look.
Sure.
And we didn't have stop signs on Hillsdale until about 4 years ago.
It's a little longer than that.
5
We had to
years
go to
ago.
TSC to get that.
Yeah, and there was, after about 6 wrecks at that intersection, because there wasn't stop signs where people were cutting across the Knoll Drive, then they put the stop signs up, and that slowed that down finally. But when they put the little hoses across the street for, you can count cars, but you can also determine how fast they're going.
Yeah.
If we could have that in the summertime, just out there, whether we use it or not, that slowed everybody down. Because as soon as they saw the hoses.
Don, I'm on the transportation safety committee of the city, and the new trailers that they have, the radar trailers that say your sign, they track and report. It's got a radar in there, it's tracking the speed, and they get a report that says the number of cars and the average speeds, and tells you what the 85th percentile is.
And that's one of the things I was going to suggest, is I can talk to our traffic team about putting those out, and they actually don't display your speed. So when you go by them, you think they're off, but it's actually recording the cars that go by, the speed, and then it's making a report.
Yeah.
And we did that recently on 9th Street in Dundee, because that's people coming off Red Hills there. That's always been an issue there. So we're down like 4 officers. We have 3 in the police academy. Their training is going to be another 5, 6, 7, 8 months down the road. So, you know, usually we're dealing with 3 to 4 guys on at a time, which is, it's not too bad. So if you see something, call it in. That becomes one of those things where everyone starts to, the emails go out and we start to know about it. I'll get in touch with the traffic team about the speed study here. Is there a particular place you think it would be the best? Is it foothills? Just east or west of the roundabout, is that a better place? Or
It's morning, afternoon. If we're trying to catch people in the morning, I would say that it's probably in the west side of the roundabout, somewhere between Center and Burlington.
Okay.
In the evenings, on the other side of the roundabout, come around that, so you get closer to Foothill, to Knoll Drive.
And then, after it's been on foothills for a while, we'll go up on Knoll Drive, just above Hillsdale, and catch the traffic coming and going up down.
Coming down the hill is probably...
On which road?
On Knoll
Drive.
Knoll Drive, okay.
Do you know what the non-emergency number is? People want to report speeders. We can get that in our minutes.
Sure.
Several years ago, there was more stop signs installed in the Springbrook addition because they were having issues with traffic.
Yeah, that's true.
How,
what's funny is they
what
didn't
kind of effect
they didn't put them on they put them on Aquarius, but not on Victoria, so now everybody goes down Victoria and bypass.
So it's changed the traffic pattern?
Well, it's good. It's good. It changed the traffic pattern, but yes, it did. It's almost ridiculous how many stop signs are on that road.
Yeah, I know that, but I was wondering if it helped and if that might be something
it
that
definitely did, and I'm not too sure how to go about that. I mean,
it would be a request through the Traffic Safety Commission.
Because I think we've got a bigger grid here than Springbrook Addition is for neighborhood, don't we? Between us and Fenway Park.
Yeah. But
so, would that be an option to look into?
Put my other hat on, being on the Traffic Safety Commission and having gone through that a few times. The general feel right now is that stop signs are not speed enforcement. They're not intended for use for speed enforcement. They're for safety issues.
Yeah.
If you watch the traffic flow, for example, coming down Knoll Drive, maybe 6 cars out of 10 don't stop at the stop sign down the bottom. Just go around and just keep on going.
Yeah. Another thing on that traffic, this is the only track, Ivy and Foothills, does not have a sign saying 25 miles an hour. On the other side of College, every time you turn down the street, first thing you see is 25. So these people coming down, they think it's still 35.
We don't have any 25 mile an hour.
No, I'm saying, but every other track has it, even Fenway Park. You drive down Fenway, there's a sign.
We requested the city and...
Would that help? I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying, would that help?
We made that request, and I agree, it does help. The constant reminder, the city hasn't done that.
So how about if you request again, maybe?
We can do that.
You didn't say your non-emergency number.
Isn't it 538?
It's 503-538-8321.
8321.
8:30.
I'll send an email to the chief for the request on the study so that he can approve that and have the traffic team do that. And I'll do that tonight, so.
Maybe provide us with a trailer, they'll keep track of it.
It'll be here, I don't know how long they do it for, if it's for a week, but then, I'll suggest maybe after that, put the other one there and track in the evening what people are doing so we can see, and that would help us with speed enforcement, just to know where we need to be. If it turns out everyone's doing 25, 30 miles an hour, then maybe we need to put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
We have one more question that Carl wanted to ask.
ADEC is going to build something like 1,400 homes, as I recall, just east of my home. And those homes, the way I saw the traffic streets in the layout that they had, a great deal of those cars, homeowners' cars, are going to be going down Foothills Drive and one street up.
Hillsdale.
Right.
Hillsdale.
But the thing is, I think those people are going to hang a left and come to Foothills and make a straight shot out of the area there. And that's going to increase the traffic.
There's
in
also a
Fort
lot,
Hills.
there's also a lot of people that work at ADEC that live in this neighborhood too, so it's, it would be, for some people, more convenient to get home.
I'm not talking about
But-
the employees, I'm talking
Right.
about the homes that are going to be built, which are not cheap
Right.
homes. It's going to upgrade
In
that
any way,
whole area.
yeah, no,
So-
any way we look at it, it's gonna change the traffic pattern.
Well,
But there's nothing on the
I
dock.
think if you look at the traffic pattern for going over to ADEC, there's another way out, okay? But not going, say, into Dundee or on over to Mac,
Right.
where a lot of these people may work. That's going to increase the traffic there, because they're going to want to get out to College, get down College, and they're gone.
There will be another opportunity as they go through, as ADEX, as the Springbrook development starts to build each of their pods. And as an association and as citizens, we have the opportunity to go and talk to city council about their development
Yeah.
plans as they come
Well,
online.
that's
They just
why
have
I'm
laws,
mentioning
so-
this.
I think we have a
It
few
is
years to
something
worry
that
about that.
everybody should be conscious of, because, like he says, stop signs don't slow people down. So,
I think one of the best things, one of the best deterrents is something that displays your speed. I think a lot of folks are good, they don't necessarily intend to speed, they don't pay attention to what they're doing sometimes, there's a lot of things in your car that distract you, and when they see, oh geez, I'm going 30, when we have those in the school zones and we're watching them, and they don't see us, they're hitting their brakes really hard when they see that they're going too fast. So I don't know if that's something that the association can
How much
look
does it
into.
cost to put something like that in?
I have
One of those radars, one of those,
I think it's
like what's down there by John Osmond, it's about $5,000.
Solar. Yeah, it's
5,000
solar.
for a solar
So,
system.
we put the radar trailers up, but we can't do it all the time. We have to move them to other areas of the city, and I think that's one of the best deterrents.
I think
I
something
know it's
that's
deterred me a couple
probably more
times, yeah.
deterrent is the speed bumps.
Your fire department doesn't know those, so.
Well,
Yeah, they do,
the fire
there's one on
department-
Crestview, that's a major street.
Yeah,
Or not Crestview, it's Fulton, past the manor, there's one right in front of the manor, that's a main street.
in King City, they don't have them all the way across the street. They've got
Speed cushions.
speed cushions in between. The fire trucks can straddle that, but it still slows the people down.
That's Fulton Valley Fire,
I know.
and I guess that's what we have
That's what
now
we're
too.
gonna be now.
Yeah.
So, but again, it would be the city paying for that unless the HOA wanted to come and pay for that and fund that.
It'd be nice to get some 25-mile-per-hour signs, if we could do that first of all. That doesn't sound like it would be too expensive. If we could maybe all make some noise to the city about that.
I would
Yeah.
recommend if you go to the police chief's website, the Newberg Police Department's website, there's a link for the Traffic Safety Commission. If you were to write letters and email campaign to the Traffic Safety Commission, the chief sees all those and presents a case to the Newberg Engineering Department. They work hand in hand to put things together on the plan.
I'll bring that up as well when I email the administration about it.
It seems kind of short-sighted, we don't have any signs.
Yeah, it's, that would be our developer.
Well, because it's basically, it's assumed that you're supposed to know that you're supposed to go 25.
No.
But some people
Sure,
do right behind it.
college is 35.
Right.
That's
why they go down early. It's basic knowledge, but I think
Yeah.
if they see it, it might just...
Yeah, you're right.
Anything else for the officer? Board? Thank you very much for
Yeah,
coming in.
thank
Really
you.
important to follow.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a good night. Good evening.
Thank you.
All right. I'll go back to the regular scheduled meeting. Close the homeowner open, I guess we already closed that off, so we celebrated the officer, right? Okay. Meeting minutes from last month,
No, that's from
from
March.
March, yes. Okay.
You gonna stay for this? My name is Joe.
Joe, good to
You
meet
probably
you.
heard about me before you got here.
Not a-
They said, look out for Joe.
Only good things.
No, you was dying.
Haven't heard word about you.
You're not scared.
Any questions on the minutes?
Okay, take care.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, Joe.
I move that we approve the March meeting minutes.
Your discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of approving the March meeting minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, passed.
What happened to April and May?
We didn't have a May meeting, and I guess we should have had meeting minutes for April, but say it was a short meeting, but at least
It was canceled.
It was,
There was no minutes.
there were some minutes that was called to order and closing together afterwards. Okay.
We should probably have that.
There should be minutes for that anyway, shouldn't there?
You could, that's fine, if Mark wants to draft those, we can certainly approve them at the next meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, financial report, Tricia.
Currently, as of April 30th, 2016, year-to-date income is $41,979. Year-to-date expenses is $8,834. The net income of $33,145. Total operating funds currently, as of April 30th, is a little over $50,000. Checking account balance is right around $44,000, and your total reserves are a little over, almost $22,798. Didn't see any major variances that would cause for any issues. Did the board see any? I think you guys are right on target, on track. And again, I didn't see any variances that jumped out at me.
Do we have a copy of that budget for homeowners here?
The budget?
Yeah,
Or is that from
I was going to recommend to her, if she wanted to email me, I'm happy to send it to her. I mean, it's also available on the
Budget is
portal.
financials.
Oh, I thought you meant the budget.
Well,
So the budget
The
itself.
year-to-date, the budget to actuals.
Yeah, so there's certain parts of the financials that are available to the homeowners.
And that's on that website.
Yeah, those, do you put those financials? The
It's on
financial.
It's on your website, we don't use the other one anymore.
So we don't put the monthly financials on the web portal, we put the budget on there. However, if a homeowner is, requesting, we are able to provide certain pages of the financials to the homeowners. We can't provide everything because there are some private information, accounting, account information for personal homeowners that it's just basically for, privilege. But we're happy to send you any part of the financials that are available for you. And the same with the budget. Now, the budget itself is actually on the web portal. You're welcome to go on there and log on there and look at it at any time you'd like.
And things have been running pretty close to budget, as
Yeah,
There have
yeah.
been.
Like I said, there wasn't any major variances.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, any questions on the financials? No. Someone want to make a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the financial report.
Second.
Any more discussion on the financials? Hearing none. All in favor of approving the April financials? Say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign? Okay, financials are approved. All right, next item on the agenda is aging delinquencies. Patricia, you're up to bat again.
Well, there really isn't much that we can really discuss.
Just more an FYI for the board.
But it is being tracked, so there's nothing to approve, there's nothing to do.
No, it's
Okay.
all part of basically your financials.
Okay.
It's just more.
A different
More
one.
I got a question about the delinquent, are they basically the same people year after year, or
No.
just,
There
There,
are some that are going through that, but they ebb and flow. And management trust is on it. And they are being assessed interest on the past due amounts.
At what point would they possibly go to collection? I mean, when do you say enough is enough and
We have
do something a
we have
little
policy on
stronger?
that, but
yeah,
it's up to-
there's a collection resolution in place. That basically.
So you don't just keep finding them and
No, not
nothing happens?
Okay. Item on number 5, we have the proposed financial planning resolution that was in our board packs. We had a chance to read through that. Brian, Ryan, do you want to give us since you're here, you want to give us a rundown on what this resolution is and what it covers?
Yeah. Basically,
What's that?
I can as well.
yeah.
He's getting paid to be here.
We're talking about the recording resolution.
Correct.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, you said financial penalty resolution.
Oh.
That's why I said, oh, I could do it.
Oh, okay,
So
sorry.
we skipped a little.
That's actually the management trust.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So basically, there's been some discussion in the past, just because with the previous management company, they had certain policies and procedures that really are not in line with the current procedures with our company. So we had talked about changing and maybe just kind of redefining that financial penalty resolution. So that's what's in here. I've enclosed our financial penalty resolution, as well as the current one, so you can compare and see. But the one that's currently in here is more in line with our current procedures.
Okay. Any questions for Patricia? This isn't the first time we've seen this. We've discussed it.
Right. We just kind of table it a little bit, yes.
I'll move to accept.
That's a motion to accept.
Second.
Don seconds. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor of accepting the financial penalty resolution?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Passes. The updated one. So which one's the new versus the old?
The new one should be the one on top. The
No, I got it.
first, without signature, I believe. Should be.
Should be this one.
Yeah, this is because it's without signature.
It's not fun. Don, since you're sitting right here with me.
Put your,
21st.
Yes.
What's that? It just says director, so we can, right, Don can sign as a director.
yeah,
Yes.
I guess so.
All right, while he's signing that.
So then that leads us to the next item, the rules and regulations number 2014-3.18, which was also a procedure that the association had with Superior. This was the letter, the resolution that allowed the association to sign a homeowner for a $35 charge for violation letters that they received. Again, because of the process change, this really is not really in line with our policy and procedures again, because I believe with the discussions that Superior actually was, the way that they maybe managed or billed the association for their time and that sort of thing, I think was how this came about. But because with our management contract, the site reviews and our time is already allotted and built into our management contract. So if we're going to go ahead and approve this financial penalty resolution as it is, we really need to rescind this violation letter.
Great. I move that we accept.
I said, well,
All seconds, okay. Any other discussion on this? Hearing none.
Do you want to have Tony sign this one since you're focused on it?
All in favor of rescinding resolution 2014-3.18 by title only? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none. Passes.
Now,
Secretary.
that's what we're
This is you. All right, next item is the reporting resolution. So Ryan, you want to explain what's going on now?
Yeah, Roberts, under the Planned Community Act, the board has the power, the Planned Community Act makes Robert's rules the law essentially for how you conduct this meeting. And Robert's rules gives you guys the power to adopt standing rules for this meeting.
No, it
And
doesn't.
specifically, in those standing rules is the power to decide whether or not you would like recording in this meeting.
Can you cite that, please? It does not. Robert rules are guidelines.
So this is,
Yeah, I can cite it. ORS 94-657 provides that meetings shall be conducted in accordance with Robert's rules. Section 2 of the 11th edition of Robert's Rules allows for the adoption of standing rules. Section 25 of Robert's Rules specifically allows the board to adopt a rule with regards to recording meetings. And you also have the authority to adopt fines for violations of the rules that you've adopted. So I've drafted a resolution to that effect. I understand that the board prefer that these meetings not be recorded. I think that's totally within your power if that's what you'd like to do. And that's what that resolution accomplishes.
Does the declaration do not say that the rules cannot conflict with statutory law?
outside of that, you can have a conversation with him afterwards if
Yeah.
you want to discuss lawyerly things.
Sure.
But thank you.
I have a question. Why wouldn't you want the minutes recorded?
And what are you afraid of?
Anybody that wants to come can come and listen to these things. In fact, I'm tickled to see so many people here tonight. It's the first meeting I've been to where we had anybody hardly. But I think the concern we have as a board is that people would be reluctant to be recorded.
Oh, personally, you guys not sure personally if you want to be recorded or not?
Well, I mean, you know, I can just speak for myself that when you have a person who's very hostile to the board, who's coming in with a recording, my concern is that it suppresses open discussion on the board, that people just sort of withhold the discussion that they're having because they're concerned about maybe something being edited out of context or used in some way against them or against the association. So that's the primary concern, and that's the primary concern of most homeowners associations that have this kind of rule.
Wouldn't you think that if you're concerned about somebody lying about what they recorded, wouldn't it be wise for you guys to set up a small microphone and record what's being said? That way you
You
have...
guys can back yourselves up just in case.
So rather than have that, you know, process of recording all the meetings, and we're not ruling out the possibility that at some point we may want to record meetings for the purposes of taking notes or something like that. We're not ruling that out at all. But just having people come in and just record things, just...
It sounds like a pretty basic thing, though. It's not a big deal.
No, hasn't been for 17 years. I've been coming to meetings and recording. No one's ever had a problem. Joe didn't have a problem. Nobody here's had a problem.
Sure, you might not agree with everything, but I haven't seen any hostility.
Well, you haven't been...
That's a personal opinion of
I haven't
his.
been to it
You
all.
haven't been to a lot of meetings.
If you have a
Well, the
recording,
reason we don't come to a lot of meetings is we had a lot of double talk and no answers. And it's like a waste of time. Why should we waste our time getting no answers? Nothing good.
Maybe rather than
The
take away what
speeder-
he
the
wants to do,
speeders,
you
5
guys
years
back
ago I was
yourselves
here.
up with a mic of your own.
Well,
So you got
we've
proven
considered that,
evidence?
and we haven't ruled video and audio recording just to sort of protect.
you would think you...
I don't think you're going to make any better friend by taking away the recorder.
They can't anyone under ORS 165. Sorry.
Who cares?
Well, you would think it would be
I mean,
less possible.
if somebody says something and it really wasn't true, but they didn't know it was true, that could be resolved very simply.
It's not about lying or using the tape recorder to verify the veracity of a statement in a meeting. It's about the overall effect that recording would have on open and free discussion amongst neighbors and amongst the board.
Have we witnessed it here tonight?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm
No one's been
willing-
stifled?
I'm willing to have...
Well, the Lord's
My
been started
God, most
plenty of
of
times.
my
True.
working life, I was recorded all the time in major meetings. I mean, we're talking billions of dollars. And I had my say, it was all recorded. I mean, I don't understand such a small business here. Less than $100,000.
Pretty easy to
I
set up.
guess some of it comes back to the
We
point
can
that,
talk maybe
you know,
more after.
you
maybe
can record
give me
things.
some more context
but
for
I said you can
the
record
concern.
things, but you can
His
also
personal
take a
opinion 'cause he
piece
doesn't
of
like me.
paper and write stuff down.
Ah, but that doesn't, a voice on a recording could be held as evidence. What's written on a piece of paper, it cannot. That's why when you go
Do we need a
into
motion?
these highly secret
Do we need a
rooms.
Mr. Harris,
with federal
the Robert Rules of Orders are not part of the governing documents. Under the Oregon Plan Committee Act, only the bylaws and the CCNRs give the board authority, not the Robert Rules of guidelines for how meetings are conducted. You're wrong in that
It's just a
assessment.
matter of you feeling comfortable if you're being recorded, you know. If you feel like you know your rules, then you should be fine.
You know, frankly, it doesn't bother me at all. I think the concern was that homeowners who came here might feel uncomfortable. But
You got homeowners right here that aren't uncomfortable, and they're voicing their opinion that they're not
thank
uncomfortable.
you very much.
Thank you.
You're basing that on
The
what my
homeowners that
husband...
might be made uncomfortable might not be.
You won't know until they're here.
Well, but
And even then, it's a public forum.
You have plenty of time to come.
I think if
Anybody's
you want
welcome
to
to
cover
come
all
to
your
these
bases, you guys just record it
Board
all.
discussion.
You can't pass it. You can't violate state statute.
Ron, you have any?
Pardon?
I guess, is there a motion to consider this recording resolution?
I move that we accept the recording resolution.
Second?
I'll second.
It's not gonna fly.
Any discussion?
Can't curb state statute.
All right, hearing none, I will call for the question. All in favor of passing the resolution to recording option, recording resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay.
And you're witnessing a violation of law right here.
So, sounds like it passes, 4 to 1. So, what I heard.
Do you guys ever take into account, I mean, you made a decision as a group, but do you actually listen to what people say when they come to the meeting? I mean, because, it seems like everybody here has said one thing in the group, but outside, with the homeowners sitting outside, they say the complete opposite of what you're saying. I mean, do you take that into account?
We're all homeowners too.
Yeah, but there's homeowners here, they're standing here, and,
They're, not to discount what you're saying.
We're not on the board.
Well, no, it's not that. There's an equal number of us that are homeowners just as much as you are, and there's 198 homeowners total, so we're representing the entire association. And thinking about that. So yes, we do listen.
What you're making is a supposition that the most of the people out there, or maybe one person may not want that.
Well, it's not really a
And you're making
supposition.
an assumption.
Yes, it is.
If
What
people-
they're going to say or decide.
It would seem to me, if
I don't
people,
understand that.
if people want to know what's being said here, everybody gets a schedule at the beginning of the year. Everybody gets notices when we make a change. Anybody who wants to walk up here and listen to everything we have to say is welcome to do that. I would love that. In fact, I wish we had a bigger room and we got more people involved. That'd be awesome.
We used to meet in there but we moved in here because, it's usually a pretty quaint group.
If people aren't willing to show up to the meetings, I don't know that they're dying to hear a recording either. I think
And when you have one person who's really driving to the hoop on making recordings and the person is threatening the association with lawsuits on top of that, it will have the effect of stifling discussion.
Only upon the board members, not the homeowners, as witnessed tonight.
7 that are here.
Does not the city council record their meetings?
Yes. But they're under different rules.
Okay, so we're
And
gonna,
that's a lot
we do want to go home.
bigger than this group.
Yeah, so the rest of the information is just for for reference, putting these in your budget.
So we're going to, by the schedule, we have, the next item is the 2017, the approved 2016 budget.
Oh, yeah, no,
Okay.
what I'm saying is number 8 is just basically for board's reference. During the meeting, if
Okay.
there were some questions for budget-wise.
Okay, so there's
or
no action?
No, there's no action. It's just-
Compliance report was performed on June 6th. The compliance level, all open compliance issues is closed. Do we have any that are approaching?
We can take a look.
So you need to brief us on.
There's... No. And then the same for the board planning calendar.
Yeah, I guess change on that
Oh, okay.
for, the annual meeting from May to.
Oh, yes, that needs to be changed.
And we have no active ARCs.
Nope, again, that's just for board information.
Right, just
You know,
your-
the status is up to
There's none there.
Architectural
No,
review.
there's no pending.
The architectural review committee.
Okay, any other new business that somebody wants to bring up?
I don't know if everybody saw it, but the garage,
Garage sale sign.
there we go, yeah.
Advertisement.
Garage sale this Saturday, and signs are up. It's on the Craigslist for advertisement for people that want to have a garage sale. I mean, you can have them anytime during the year, but this is just a community effort, and put signs out for everybody already, so that'll be Saturday, get it started.
I think also just for information maybe for next year, if we want to take a look at, Dawn and I looked into putting it into the Newberg graphic. However, it does cost anywhere from $25 to $30 depending on how many lines. We weren't really prepared to do that cost at that time, so maybe we could take a look at for next year if the board wants to fund that.
You don't need an ad in the paper, signs on the street.
Works
People-
great, yep, and like I said, and Craigslist was free, and so that was kind of why we chose not
There
to do
are
it.
people that cruise the streets looking for garage
Oh,
sales.
yes,
signs.
yeah, like every
Okay,
Saturday.
the only thing I had to add was it's been a few years since we got any mulch or nutrients to the traffic circle. Can you get
It's pretty bleak.
it is pretty bleak. Can you get a quote from, I would suggest you get a quote.
Go to the city, I think $16 a load. You can get a load of their compost.
The human waste compost.
8 to 3,
It's
they're
clean.
open.
Yeah.
It does have a bit of an odor.
It doesn't last long, and the plants love it, and it's cheap.
No, the plants do love it.
Is there a garage sale sign out on College, or just, we
There's,
saw the one tonight
There's
walking,
two on
but
Foothills and one on the street.
I don't
And then the big sign I put on the roundabout because I didn't have the brackets to put it in by college, so.
I think last time we hung it from between the tree and the stop sign, which is probably not recommended.
Yeah, that's why I decided not to do it.
Yeah. So you did a quote for mulching that, and maybe ask them if they consider going to the city and using that.
Good smelling stuff.
The good stuff.
One of the wind is.
All right, Greg, anything else for the good of the order? Don? Don?
Nope.
Mark? I've got nothing else. Motion to close.
Motion to adjourn.
Sarah?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you for coming tonight.
How much is the
I spent my entire life here.
private organization.
It gets well. Under the subsection, it says private meetings are also recordable if everyone has a reasonable knowledge that the recording is being made from an unconcealed device. And your interpretation of Robert's orders are wrong. Your interpretation of Section 1, Section 1 is wrong. No one of the states of the lives these are included. If you're not going to talk to me, I'll just file the complaint tomorrow. Thank you. I'm going to be filing for report too. I cited a statute that allows me to record meetings. He said, well, that doesn't have to do with HOA. No, HOA statute, and it doesn't have to be.
I wanted to ask him if he felt like he was being bullied.
By them?
Every time he'd open his mouth,
Tony tell him
tell him to shut up.
I know. You notice all that too. So you observe exactly how they operate. Tony's been on the board way too long. He's been on there for at least 12 or 13, 14 years.
Yeah, but what I find funny is he used to call the board yard Nazis.
I know.
And now he's on the board.
Yeah.
You know what he called them yard Nazis? Because he was constantly getting letters because his house looked like crap. Well, now his house looks like crap, but he's on the board, so it's okay.
Right. Same with Linda on the corner of Foothills and Linda.
Her house is always nice.
Well, the yard of the house is nice, but the sidewalk issue, the garbage cans. Well, and what he did is technically malpractice too. He was basically writing a legal document for them, which is improper legal advice. They're creating a document that contradicts state statute. Even the resolution on the street trees wasn't done according to CCNRs. They required the 75% vote, as I articulated. What they wrote in that resolution fundamentally changed the language of what the definition of street trees and planter strips were, which contradicts what the ordinances are in the city of Newberg, how they define the planter strips and everything. And everything they've done in these resolutions has been illegal. CCNRs, the bylaws, and even state statute, or even local ordinances.
And I didn't, it crossed my mind to ask them why they turned down mediation, but I didn't circle back around to it in my head, so I forgot to ask.
That's because they have no ground, no leg to stand on. Everything I provided in that 10 pages were very well, even the lady at mediation said that it was like a very well-researched, well-written, laid-out document that I cited every statute, every bylaw, every article, everything that they violated.
I just wanted to hear what they had to say.
Oh, I wish
I do remember too.
The way it was talking there, if whatever they decide to vote on, that's the way it's going to be.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And, but yet there's, what, 7 of them? And there's 198 others? They're all homeowners? How do we get equal representation?
You got to get everybody you got to get everybody to show up and go against them, but there's too much apathy.
Oh, there's so many homes that are rented in there.
Yeah. There were a lot more than I realized.
And, as long as it doesn't impact their dollars, their income, they don't care what happens, except for their houses. I mean, if the renter damages, they care about that. If it's trees causing cement damage and they've got to spend $5,000 or $6,000 to get somebody else to come out and fix it at a hell of a rate. I mean, the guy right down the street from me, he said it was over $5,000 to put in 3 squares of cement. And I watched the guys do it, and I'll bet you the laborers weren't getting maybe $20, $25 an hour, and I bet they didn't spend more than 8 or 10 hours there.
And it boggles my mind that they've okayed cutting the roots to save the sidewalk.
And that was just 2 guys.
I know. It almost seems counterintuitive for a lot of homeowners to arbitrarily cut roots and then they would just turn around and replace the tree at our expense.
Well, the tree's going to die, we'll replace it. The tree's going to die, we'll spend your money, is what they're saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
I went over to Reed's Reynolds and got a Sawzall. I went through 7 blades, took out some rather, and I'm not exaggerating, roots this size underneath my sidewalk. My sidewalk is probably raised maybe an inch. And
Linda's has raised a good 3 inches.
Just one of them, yeah, it's like,
It's
yeah.
I mean, that's a
almost,
huge trip hazard.
oh, yeah,
Maybe I should take a walk. I got bad
yeah,
legs.
we walk.
I got a brace on right now. I'll get out and take a walk.
You ever come by our place, you know where we live. We got 2 dachshunds, and they don't miss anything going down the street.
Homemade burglar alarm, alarm
Oh,
systems.
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
all right, thank you.
We really got desperate today, my wife and I. We went over and tried to get these little nose things so they can't open their mouth.
The muzzles, yeah.
Laura spent, I think, probably 8-10 minutes trying to get it fitted. And when she got it on, oh, we're good to go. Where are we going to go for a walk? She put tuba down on the concrete, and he went like that and was gone.
Too funny.
Well, there's a little bit of contempt. Tony doesn't like you and you don't like others.
No, he doesn't. It's because I proved Tony wrong, and Tony finally came around and actually had some sensibilities back in October of 2014 when we finally got the trees off the budget. And then he wrote that newsletter in November of 2014 saying it wasn't going to be on anymore. So I called him out for it. He knows he lied. He knows he did wrong.
He fell for pressure.
But you know what it is? It's Greg. Because in the 2000, that meeting, Greg came there and he tried personal attacking me just like he did here, but he was more aggressive about it. I mean, he was like finger pointing, yelling. Lou Larson used to be on the board, a really older gentleman. He got in his face and basically shut him down. So we're not here for character assassination, we're here to talk about the issues. And then he walked out. So yeah, he doesn't like me because I've proven them wrong all the time. Like I said, I'm the only house with no street trees because they didn't follow the law and address the issue within 1 year of the time they noticed the deficiency, which was back in the year 2000. But they sent letters out in 2006 and 2008. And I told them, no, if you want it done, you go back to the city. Because it's the city who didn't force the developer to put trees in before giving the occupancy permits. And I'm not paying, hundreds, if not $1,000, $2,000 to put trees in when it's not my responsibility.
Well, she had a co-worker that is not in the association, but surrounded by the association.
Yeah.
And the board.
They told her, I don't know if the board or what. It might have been
She's driving illegally, no license on the front of the vehicle. Where's Officer Simmons now?
The board, I guess, HOA approached her saying, asked her if they wanted to join. She goes, why?
No, what's the benefit?
What's the benefit?
And she didn't. The house is still not in the association.
I'm going to go check it with him.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
I'm sure you are high on its popularity.
Well, they've been mad for a long time. Well, the person that made it mad was concept, but I don't think the statute specifically says the moment the board or a homeowner is notified or observes the change, you have 1 year from that date to take action. Well, they didn't take action in 2006. Plus, they also were stupid enough to document newsletters admitting that this is Newberg's fault. 98 homes out of 198 homes didn't pass. The city was supposed to for the development approval before giving the occupancy. The city gave occupancy permits to certain people who didn't start selling the home. So almost 100 homes out of our own
Saturday, our old
yes.
has a bunch of friends on
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So
And that's why they have that good homes that were not part of the homeowner association.
That too.
They were
right into rentals.
I found people on there, but I haven't tried that issue up.
That will come.
Low on my radar right now.
Yeah, when that building was in trouble, that was actually loud.
Yeah, but they're building their way back up again.
Yeah, and they'll do
We
it
call it
smarter this time.
shortcuts. A little bit.
I like that.
Yeah.
We got a friend in Washington that was right by talking. He's got with the vent attached in his crawl space. Was never put in his floor.
Mine too. Mine too. They had to put it up into the floor.
So for the last 14 years, he's been heating and cooling his crawl space.
Yeah, I bought
Yeah.
the house when I was 7 years old, and it had been under the house for 7 years,
Oh,
blowing
I imagine
hot
the
air
mildew
and
and just
cooler
the problem
underneath the
in that crawl
house.
space is horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's been leaking water for, I don't know how long, 2.5 gallons a week.
Wow.
Yeah, I got mine fixed.
I mean, the only major complaint I had about my house was the builder put a cracked beam on the top of the garage. So when
Yeah.
they had him come out and replace it, he brought his 90-year-old father out to help him.
Oh, God.
I'm serious. This old guy was on the ladder trying to take it
Really?
off.
You cracked the beam too? You cracked
They
it?
put in the cracked
You
beam.
cracked one too?
No, I didn't crack it. They
Oh,
put in
I
the
cracked,
cracked
there
beam.
was one crack.
thought it was been cracked.
So my wall goes like this. And then I heard a big pop, and it was in the attic. It's
So the thing that Greg and them don't
Wow.
understand is that they would just
I mean, the
follow
wall
the
broke
government
like
documents, what
6
they say and how they say it.
because the
I
pictures
wouldn't have
went like
an issue.
this.
There would be
Because it was
no
like my
problem
coffee
whatsoever.
table
But that
rolled, and
would
so
take
it was
more
like
effort
rolling.
on their part.
I was like,
I know,
what's
because they
going
just
on?
want
And
to
it was
wish
only
things
like
the way they want them to.
1.3 or
That's all they want to
something.
do.
And,
I was like,
you know,
that's
and he
weird.
made,
That is weird.
just by his
But
actions,
so
made a
there's
perfect
fault
point.
line right up College.
He doesn't actually want to be doing what he's doing.
No.
He doesn't
actually
want to be
resigned.
on the board.
No, he actually resigned. He only came back on to deal with me. That's the only reason why he's on the board.
Which one?
Greg, you know.
He's telling me, oh, I'm missing hanging
Now,
out
is
with
he
my
the one
grandson.
that was standing by me?
He doesn't
standing by
wanna
me?
Sitting in front of me.
He doesn't want
right
to
in front
do
of me
it.
in front of you.
Oh.
No, he doesn't want to be on
You
there.
know? If
why
you
I
don't
said
want to be
resign.
there, you go in, you rubber stamp everything, and you hit the road.
Well, did you notice that when they put that financial penalty resolution, that Tony said 3 times that the first time he's seen it, and probably the rest of the board, they haven't really reviewed it yet, but yet they just arbitrarily approved the thing?
Right.
That's how they govern. And that's why I'm always on their ass, because they're not following the governing documents. If they would,
But who's going to do the job?
Nobody, obviously, because Don's been on there for at least 10 years, same with Tony. I know Tony and Don are the 2 longest standing ones there. Greg was on about till 2002, 2004 till he resigned. And then he came back on to deal with me because he doesn't like the fact that I keep doing things wrong for lawyers. Because, I mean, everything.
I guess, how do you get all these other homeowners
I don't know.
to start coming?
Well, I'm a homeowner. I don't want to spend my time over here dealing with this shit.
Neither do I.
You know? But
I
these
also
guys
don't
are actually doing it. Whether they're doing it good or bad, sure. You know? But someone's doing it.
True. Someone's doing it, but in the long run, if it hurts us in the long run, then where's the good, and even if someone's doing it?
I'd be great if I get rid of the whole land.
Yeah.
But that's probably not going to happen.
They
But he
can.
said
You
what,
get old
10
timers like that guy, and that, is it Joe?
Yeah.
Sort of guy?
For
He's
that.
all about it. He wants to bring everybody in. No!
We can get rid of them. We just have to get 75% of the vote.
Which
Whether
might
it's on
be
paper
kind of
or in
hard to
person.
do with
Well, I've had a lot
some of them
people-
old timers.
I know, but I've had a lot of people on Facebook, my Facebook page, saying, "Hey, call me up. We're willing to get
Right.
together, go door to
Yeah,
door
me
with
and
you."
Carrie, I'll do it with you.
That's what I
Because
said
I
too.
ain't coming over
Yeah.
here and doing this.
Yeah.
You
I'm
know,
on your
As you can see, it's a
side.
waste of time.
I was like, I take care of my lawn, I do my thing. Just leave me alone.
right. And don't charge me too much damn money.
There we go.
And let me park my camper for 2 days and don't give me a letter.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised they're rescinding that $35 penalty resolution. I'm kind of curious to know when we get that new financial penalty resolution.
Right, what
What's
it's
going to
gonna
be and
be.
what's the new penalties going to be or how it's going to apply. Yeah.
I don't trust that lady on the other side.
No. You know, and
And the silent one?
Because now
No,
she's
she
like,
does-
oh,
she does
email
for
me, I'll
you.
help you. But
Yeah.
the past 3 months,
Really?
she hasn't done anything.
oh, she was COA and on your
She
store the
was-
whole time. So was Tony.
She was like, oh, I don't care. We're starting over. Just whatever.
I want to get
So it's totally 180.
Make these people pay for their own water, pay for their own mowing of the lawn. Man.
Pay for 6 hours of water.
Yeah.
Well, August
I
5th is
love
my last
that.
day at work, so I'm going to commit more time to doing some stuff. But
You retiring?
Yeah. Well, I was in the military, and I've got a lot of medical issues. I've gone through school. I've worked and pushed myself way too long for 25 years, and I'm done.
Good.
I'm done.
Good
I've
for
got to
you.
take care of myself because I feel like I'm running myself into the ground. And I don't want to be 6 feet under just quite yet.
Right. But don't kill yourself on this stuff either.
Oh no, I can get, nice and a little here, a little there. My wife's already got a room that I'm already supposed to fix for her, so she's already gone to IKEA.
Already got projects.
Yeah, she's already gone to IKEA. She's already had stuff delivered, so it's in the garage. So it's kind of like I was gonna do it in October when she went home to visit her sister, but it's kind of like I'm kind of feeling guilty, and I'm like I started with this last weekend doing some stuff, and maybe some more this weekend, and I'm happy. So
I'm gonna knock it out before, before I retire.
Yeah.
Yeah, California, my God. also affected me when I retired.
Oh, did you do, Parkville?
You work for the sheriff, right?
I used to work at the sheriff's office, but then I
Yeah,
moved up
I
to
did
district
both
attorney.
halls, the
Yeah,
living
okay.
room,
I've
and
been there for
then the
almost 3
master
years.
Yeah,
bedroom,
Knoll or
and I
Washington?
needed the other 2 bedrooms, but I'm just tired. I redid all the moldings, I sanded them down, restained and clear coated, and we just put them on.
That's a lot of work.
And, yeah, now it's like, I gotta take 2 more
Well,
rooms.
maybe after August, if push comes to shove, I'll send to the mass email out and just see who's willing to go door to door. And then if we are, then
Yeah.
if we can
I
get
think-
75% of the vote and call a special meeting and get a quorum at that meeting, then
Right.
we can
I think that's your
cancel
best
this,
bet,
you know.
and it's gonna be a whole lot less headache for you. But I think.
So we need to figure out where
when you
the
get-
board members live, so we're
Yeah.
not knocking on their doors.
That's what I was-
I've got a list from when I was actually not on the board, but on the CCNR committee back in 1999, so I have a listing, and all information on tax assessors is public information, so I can
Right.
cross-verify that my old list to make sure they're still at those addresses. And if they are, then we can just mark them off. Yeah, so I don't want to be knocking on their doors.
No.
I think you also want a spiel. I think you want to.
Yes, I thought of that
You
too,
want
but I just
something,
haven't drafted it.
and you want everybody
More
on
than
the
just
same
one person
page.
is like a-
Yeah.
Expressing the same thing, short
Yeah.
but sweet, getting the point across that, hey,
Right.
ROH's done nothing for us for 17 years.
A couple of good points saying, this, it costs you this much money to take care of somebody else's trees. You know what I mean? A couple of good points, but it,
Pick out the
I
highlights.
mean, the
Yeah, a couple
roundabout,
highlights.
I mean, a couple times a year you do a community cleanup. The roundabout is pretty much, it's gravel and
well, see
rocks
people
that
walking
don't
around
really
getting
need.
signatures, probably volunteer for that.
Yeah, my neighbors on the corner volunteered and their parents live, like, one of these houses here, they volunteered too. So
Yeah,
they'll go around
it'd
this
be
and everything,
pretty-
they'll
I
sign
don't think
it.
they would have any problem with taking care of our own.
Have you thought of a downside of not having an HOA?
No, the only comment I've had about that is, what's to stop my neighbor from painting the house pink? Well,
Right.
There still are city ordinances that can be enforced.
And it's still their house.
There's already a purple
That's
house
what
somewhere back here.
our neighbor said that,
on our walk.
because I was saying the same thing.
It's like a lilac.
Because
It's
our other
over here
neighbors,
on
like Frank's,
Burlington.
like,
Okay,
On the left
it's like-
side.
it's on one of my
no,
old
I mean,
routes
really,
that I walk.
yeah, I mean, it
There's
keeps them
Wildflower.
from
Yeah.
doing, maybe
Yeah,
parking
that's
a
like-
car in the yard,
It's like,
taking
This
the
is a
engine out,
pumpkin house?
and working on it for a year.
Right.
Which, yeah, I don't want to see that.
Right, neither do I, but that's where
It's a pumpkin colored house.
you're right. On the flip side, when we go around and do that stuff, and they have questions, then I should have a backup list to flip over to saying, well, this city ordinance would prevent that. This city ordinance does not allow parking, or does not allow overgrowth, yards. They just can't let it go fancy
Right, you don't need the HOA, the city will enforce these things. They might not, but you could say that they should.
Right.
It's what the city's supposed
That's
to
what the city-
do.
Right, right.
But see, if you let your lawn grow 3 feet tall, the city's going to
Yes.
cite you.
Right. Just like
So-
these, evicted houses, or,
Yeah, all
condemned
these-
houses,
yeah, the
somebody's going,
antique houses.
they're making them mow the lawn of it. They're probably not even in the homeowner association.
And honestly, I don't see
And you
anybody
look
painting
back
their
in
house
the
in
other
house paint,
areas
you
that
know,
don't have
really.
associations.
Nothing so
and
godly that we can
They're
just
keeping
can't
their
do.
houses
Right.
up nice,
Yeah.
too.
Plus, you're lucky, you got a corner. So, you don't really see a whole lot of,
Just across the street. What comes flying down the road?
I'm worried who's gonna buy, Dan and Don's house.
house.
Where's
They're
that?
moving to Hawaii.
Right over here, next to
On the other
Karen.
side of the van.
Oh, right on the side of that. Yeah, we have someone moving right behind us on the corner that was.
Yeah,
where Tony
yeah,
got-
sold
Tony got
fast.
evicted, yeah. Not as fast as Chris did. My ops manager was on the radio across from me, the has-been drug house. His sold within 22 hours. I don't know how. Wasn't the cleanest thing in the world. Nothing bad against him or his family, but he had 3 boys and they were homeschooling, so he always commented how the house was always a mess. But I guess he had his father and friends come in and just kind of paint, clean up, do
Yeah,
a
but
few
yeah,
things.
5 blocks down that way,
One
on
back
College,
there
right on the
that's
corner. I mean,
empty.
there's a house going up for
It's
sale on
being
Monday, and it already
auctioned
has sale pending on Wednesday night.
That's not good.
So,
Because it'll be just someone who's going to.
Well, the thing is, it's all gonna burst again.
Oh, yeah.
If it keeps going the way it's going.
Yeah,
I'm
I
curious
met the
as
guy,
to
he
who's
came,
gonna-
he's an accountant, he came bought it, and it's his 3rd house that he bought.
somebody
before.
listed their house,
Oh, really?
the one single story.
Someone's already
like,
bought it,
at
and
the
we,
lake.
Yeah.
no, it's up on the line, we think we saw it was.
And they listed it for $338.
50-something-year-old
I'm
woman.
wondering if
So
it's
the guy was there,
sold.
she's like, I like this house, I'm gonna do
Yeah.
this.
Carrie,
Let's
no,
do it,
she
do
knows
that,
what's
so-
in these areas for houses. But she tries to gauge where our house is at.
Yeah, I do too. It was about 1,381 square feet.
What's the difference on 38? I'm like, whoa.
It's pretty high. I mean, you shoot for the moon there.
Especially when your backyard's
Unless there's
on
an actual hazard.
the highway.
On college?
Yeah. Figure out what's the coordinates with.
Right,
But if
yeah.
like a flammable hazard or something like that, just grab that there, it's dangerous.
That
You're a hoarder.
stat.
Yeah, the son of a boy, he just has nothing better to do. That, if he finds a piece of plywood, he's gonna build something with it. It's unbelievable.
Plywood and
Holy
tarps.
shit.
He loves that.
Wow.
It's awesome.
He built an awning off the back of the house, and he had blue tarps on it for 6 months. And then he finally got the,
And then he put
other materials that
corrugated
needed,
skylights
you
into
know.
it.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
He's got 2 big white canopy overhang cover things, you know, like vehicle parking things or
They're packed
RV things, you know.
stuff.
And they're just
Wow.
full. It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. He's building another shed back there now.
Yeah, now he's got
I was
some
like,
overhang with some
and he
rain
rents,
things.
it's a rental house. Well, he did put in a big white pond when he first moved in. That was actually nice. Except
Oh,
for
he
when it
flooded
kept
our yard like 2 or
leak-
3
Yeah,
times.
yeah.
All went down to Frank's.
Oh, yes, all
Frank
the-
finally put in a French drain.
You got clay problems around in your area too?
Oh, this
This
whole,
whole area is
this
that-
whole, this is all orchard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a photo road.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, back
Yeah,
there.
this
floods every
whole
year.
gale owns
It's awesome.
everything.
Yeah, we had the same problem too, because our lot was actually like that much shorter than our next one, so they watered.
The brown
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had puddles
Okay,
in the
so
back.
behind, I think I can remember this, behind my kitty corner, there's a brown house and next to it. It has a spring under it.
Just
No
bubbles
way.
water.
Yeah, and it
Awesome.
comes up through the foundation, which floods like all these houses over here.
Oh.
So I had to put in a French drain. Actually, the guy and the lady, the guy and they were here, they're for your neighbor, then they're renting it right now, but they blamed me for I was like, I'm freaking out. But they blamed me for flooding their backyard.
Oh my god.
That's why I didn't talk to them very much, but they called the cops, they're like, you're flooding my backyard! I'm like, how? I'm 3 feet downhill!
Gravity.
I'm like, dude, it's a neighbor! Because the neighbor put a French drain in, which emptied into their property.
Put in a drain
But
that
they
dumps
yelled
into
at
their
me, they
shit.
yelled at me.
That's awesome.
It's like, so, yeah, I think it's rather funny.
Well,
It's fun.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time you talk,
Yeah, they just push it off. Oh, we'll deal with that another time. You actually have a homeowner that's dedicated to looking out for his home, and you just push them off all the time. So, yeah, they're jackasses.
Pretty much.
So, good luck, and we'll help you as we can.
All right, thanks, appreciate it. See you again, Gary. Jackasses, they don't want to fulfill it.
Yeah. You gotta put them in.
And they all support me what I'm doing, and they were all dismayed about how they just blew everybody off, passed resolutions without even reading them.
Yeah.
And the lawyer was there, and they're like, oh yeah, the Robert's Rules of Order gives you authority to do this, do this. I'm like, no, the rules of order guidelines for me. They're not They don't give me any authority, only the governing documents.
Yeah.
You know, and they just all blew me off and everything like that, and they passed the recording resolution, which they can't do, but they did, and they say that it includes violations for violating it. So what are they going to do? They can't search me if I stick in my pocket with it turned on, you know?
So it's a public meeting.
I know that, but the attorney tried to say that, no, there's no statute that allows for that. I'm like, yeah, it does. Which one? And so I told him. It says right here. Well, that's not an HOA statute. It doesn't have to be. It's a public meeting. It's not public. It's private. It says right in the statute, even if it's a private meeting, as long as everybody has a reasonable understanding or knowledge that the meeting's being recorded by an unconcealed device, I can record it.
Yeah.
He just blew me off, and I said, you know what? You just opened yourself for a malpractice complaint with the state bar. Yeah, good luck with that, Mr. Spurlock.
Did you record today?
Yes.
No, see? That's how quick they come up.
Yeah, I recorded the whole meeting. They knew I was, and they couldn't say anything about it until after they passed the resolution, but it doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, well, you got that on. Record, right?
Yeah, I got everything on record. And then everybody there, all the homeowners are like, what the hell are you guys afraid of? Even this old guy who got a hearing aids could hear what was going on, and he's like, yeah, you would think it's in your best interest to record me. Why don't you guys record it so you can cover your own ass if you're worried about someone else using the recording against you? And even the other guy and his wife were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Everybody was there saying, what the hell's your guys' problem? What are you trying to hide? So they all made it, well, Greg was the main speaker on it, and he's like, well, you know, because we have a hostile person here is recording, and, you know, it may stifle conversation from other homeowners, and they don't want to speak. I'm like, dude, everybody here had no problem with the recording. Everyone here is telling you they don't have a problem with the recording. You can't make an opinion for everyone else. And even the old guy said, you 7 people are making a decision for all the other 198 homes here without them being present? It's all supposition. This other guy's like, no, it's not a supposition. It'd be great if homeowners would show up. You know? And it's just like, bullshit. It's like, it doesn't matter. They don't care about anything. They saw how they just passed shit without any regard for it.
So what did they pass now?
A new financial penalty resolution that rescinded the $35 violation letter penalty thing because it wasn't in line with the current management policies. So they're getting rid of old management policies based on the old resolutions and putting in new resolutions. Not even reading the fucking resolutions. So, and they're not going to go to mediation. They declined. And now I can file a lawsuit anytime I want because they declined mediation. But other homeowners, I think, is as they
I
express.
think you need to get DOJ involved.
Yeah, I'm going to prepare everything and just turn it into DOJ and HUD and whoever else.
Front door isn't unlocked.
You came to the garage, right?
Yeah.
No, then it's not unlocked. It
Oh.
should be locked.
Why you didn't appear then?
Because you were out there and come and talk to me, sweetheart. But you know, I'm going to go so I got everything recorded and I got everything and stuff to say. Oh, yeah. And of course they wouldn't answer anything on the street trees because they said, well, we're going to just talk about that later. Kind of bullshit. Bullshit. Because even the attorney tried to say the answer to Joe's questions about the street trees on foothills, well, you should swear to say, you know, the trees on foothills are a part of the plan. No, it fucking doesn't. Tell me about it. I tried to get the attorney to admit, which he kind of sort of did, but kind of didn't. I said, even as Mr. Harris knows as being an attorney, that when you read a statute or a governing document, that those commas, those semicolons, words like and shall have specific meaning. And the statute, or specifically says, planter strips on Foothills Drive, semicolon, and street trees on each lot. If the declarant specifically wanted the trees on Foothills written in there, they would have wrote it. It's not in there. It's either all trees or no trees, period. No ends or buts. Someone says, well, how could it be all or nothing? I said, there's an appellate court case I started back in 2011 when you guys tried to change the damn CCNRs. That specifically says the board isn't required to abide by the CCNRs. They can choose not to enforce something as much as they choose to enforce something. So, and that's exactly what Tony did back in 2014, but then he fucking lied to us and turned right around and created, put the street trees back on the thing. And then even Joe brought that up too.
So are they still over there?
No. And they had Officer Simmons show too. They had their bullshit questions about speeding around making traffic studies done or speed studies done and a radar sign. Well, when he showed up,
Did he say hi to you?
yeah, I said hi to him, and Joe told him why, what was going on, and I told him why he was here. I said, you're here for me to make sure things don't get out of control. And I said, it doesn't matter because it's a civil meeting on private property. You can't do anything about it. Because one of the other old guy sitting was asking me about it, and even Officer Simmons admitted, you can't do anything. Troy's right. It's a civil matter.
So what did he say?
Well, he didn't say in front of the board. He was out while we were waiting for the board to gather. And then I asked about Linda, why isn't the board making her fix the sidewalks? You know what they said? we deferred it to the city. I'm like, you don't do that. In the CCNRs, it specifically says homeowners are responsible for the sidewalks.
You need to get DOJ involved because somebody's really going to hurt themselves.
I know. Well,
that's not fair.
I know, but let me finish. And I said, Nicholas, you guys are the front line of the association. It's your job to enforce the CCNRs, which means if you send violation notices and they don't comply, then it's your right to hire somebody to fix the problem. If they don't pay for it, you put a lien on their home.
Yeah.
It's your guys' job to do it, not the city's.
Yeah.
And they blew me off. They just said, well, like,
to see the city of Newberg about that sidewalk.
oh yeah, I know, I intend to. It's one of the things on my to-do list.
Fair.
But I want to write up my legal complaint, like I'm going to file it in court, but I'm not going to file it. I'm going to turn it in with all my other supporting documents going to the DOJ. And I was also thinking the other day too, driving home, you know how like the news stations have those special investigative units to find things that hurt people or investigate fraud and things like that?
Oh, the CTV news?
Yeah, there's those investigative units in like Coin or whatever. They turn all that stuff into them too.
Oh,
See if they'll pick up the investigation and do a news report on it.
Oh, I'm sure they would. I don't want to be on the news.
Yeah, when the old guy was bringing me shit up, he goes, is Burlock here? I raised my hand and he kind of smiled and goes, he smiled at me. So I got down and we were all just started talking.
So, who did you, anybody new at the homeowners association?
What's that for?
Anybody new for home people, homeowners?
Well, I forget what the guy's name is. His wife is also being carried like the other carried down the street. I think that was only the second time I've seen him at a meeting. He said he's not coming to me anymore because it's just pointless.
Yeah, see, that's what the board wants them to do, so that they can rule stuff behind our backs, but they're not supposed to.
On matters that alter the CCNRs, yeah, like the tree resolution. Oh yeah, it was a joke.
Do they know that we live across the street here?
Yeah, they all know.
Oh yeah? Are they watching me do the lawn and stuff?
Who?
You home with me?
No, we were all focused on you.
Oh.
No, I don't see anybody in the chairs today at all. But yeah, like I said, all of ours really supported me. They all thank me for what I'm doing, so keep it up. And huh? No, outside.
Oh, why didn't they say it out loud? So the board knows.
Well, they all know because they saw them talking to me and hanging out, and chatting and stuff.
Oh.
So.
Well, now you can change the water. I've done way too much work already. I am soaking wet and I'm tired.
And what I just did for over 2 hours doesn't count? Let me get